there are lots of stories out here, and I know people know about the Schrucks, they know about the Metzgers, they especially know about Benjamin Hamby, but there's so much other history that gets forgotten when people die and their families move on and there's nobody left to remember them. Tom Dempsey was a gentleman that lived over on Dempsey Road. He owned the land on both sides of it, which we have found may have actually been owned by Admiral Perry. My name is Sharon Lytle. I am an assistant for the Director of Public Service. This mausoleum was actually built in 1923-24. Back in the 1990s, when everyone was screaming Y2K, I started looking at our cemetery records and realizing that maybe we ought to put them on like a spreadsheet or something. And so I started using research techniques that you do for genealogy, such as census records, marriage records, birth records. Obituaries are a great source of information, and started putting that together. Ruth White-Kerfman, she claims, her family history claims that she was actually related to Peregrine White, who was the first child born in the United States.
The service department plays a big role in these cemeteries for the general maintenance of all of them.
We do open and close graves, which is something folks may or may not know.
I know we did an interesting project a few years ago, GPR, which is ground penetrating radar. We did it on all 3 cemeteries, and in the beginning section of Pioneer, which is up by State Street, we found over 17 graves that didn't have headstones that we didn't even know about.
So we're talking 2,000 people.
Oh, there are 5,900 burials here right now in all 3 cemeteries.
One unique service that we provide to the public is access to a map on our city's website where they can actually type in a loved one's name, and it would bring up the location of that person's grave in one of the cemeteries.
This is actually what we call Little Johnny Brown's cradle. I would suspect that he was born and lived at least a few months, maybe more, because when you go to this elaborate setup to do a cradle for a child, it's not somebody that you miscarried. It's somebody that you had that connection with. William actually served, as it says, in the 54th Massachusetts, which was the attack on Fort Wagner. Anyone who's ever seen Glory, that is the story. He was actually one of the 700 to attack Fort Wagner, was shot through the right lung during that attack. I just think that preserving this history is so very important, and I think that's one of my driving forces I like to do, is that I truly believe that the one thing everybody that's ever born has in common is they just want to be remembered. And so that's what I am trying to do, help people get remembered.